WVVA in Focus, a weekly program about important issues and events in the two Virginias.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this edition of In Focus. This morning, we are putting the spotlight on the Children's Home Society of West Virginia. For more than 125 years now, the group has worked diligently to find homes for children here in the Mountain State. They also help mentor children as well. This morning, we will share information on how you can get involved. Joining me now in the studio to share more information are Becky Brown and Kristen Kelly. Ladies, thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So, Becky, you're the WECAN mentoring coordinator for McDowell County. That sounds like a fun job. Can't wait to hear more about what you do.
Yes.
And Kristen serves in the same role, but in Mercer County. So, Kristen, I'll start with you. On the Children's Home Society website, it says the agency's mission is to promote the well-being of West Virginia's children and families. So, can you explain how the society helps fill those needs?
Yeah, definitely. So we have 13 sites across the state, and all of them primarily do foster care and adoption services. But every office, has slightly different programs. For example, our Princeton office, we do Princeton and Norfolk together, so the two counties we work very closely. So we represent the WECAN mentoring program. We have therapy, we have community outreach, and then we also have Healthy Grand Families, which supports grandparents raising their grandchildren. So, yeah.
That's fantastic. And Becky, I do want to mention that we have a video coming up after the break, but that goes more in depth on what the WECAN mentoring program is, and Kristen touched on it a little bit. But can you explain briefly what exactly is the WECAN program and what do you do as a coordinator?
Well, just briefly, WECAN is a mentoring program that matches children that are just in need of a little assistance and help with a big brother, big sister, adult role model.
Okay, that's fantastic. And also, can you share more about what you do specifically in McDowell County?
And in McDowell County, we partner with the school systems and local agencies there to receive referrals of children who are in need of a helping hand, and maybe they're having trouble in school, or they just they have some loneliness, they have some issues that they would just like to have a big brother, big sister there for them. So we work to locate mentors and match those with the children, and then the mentors are able to do activities with the kids and just be there for them.
Nice. And I definitely want to ask you more about what those mentors do, but like, what kind of a time commitment are we talking about? Is it a couple hours a week, or is it up to the person?
Well, typically we ask our mentors to make a one-year commitment, because it takes several months statistically to even, get to know that child, and for there to be changes made, and for them to build a relationship. So I personally, in our program in McDowell County, has some mentors that have been with their mentees 6, 7 years.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, so that can last longer if both parties choose, but they can just be part of their family.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it, and like you said, at least a one-year commitment, and that makes sense. It takes time to build that relationship.
Yeah, it does.
So, Kristen, share with us what you do with your role with the WECAN program here in Mercer County, then.
Yes, I do exactly what Becky does, but in Mercer County. We train and recruit volunteers and then match them with one-on-one with the kids. We also do what Becky didn't mention. We do a lot of community outreach as well. Like, we're constantly out in the community. Like, we're doing WVVA, we're at the universities. We also do a lot of resources with our families. So we've done things like delivering food and like other necessities, just to be a family support, not just doing mentoring, but really supporting our families and ensuring that child has stability. So.
Right, and why do you think it is important to have that community presence? And both of you can jump in here, but why do you think it's important to have Children's Home Society out there in our local communities for people to know what you do?
Well, most of all, we're a nonprofit, so we're depending on donations, grants. We are heavily dependent on our community, and not just with money, but with items. We're constantly accepting clothing and hygiene products, different things to like support our families.
And then other volunteer opportunities. We
and we need, we need foster parents, we need mentors, and without having our name in the community, there's no way to recruit people. And we need people to know the need, and if we're not out in the community, people don't know the need.
Right,
so.
Exactly. So it's so crucial that you're out there, and like here, we're going to share how folks at home can become a mentor as well. So Becky, the website says that family resource centers play an important role in the society's goal to help families. In fact, during the 2021-2022 fiscal year, the centers assisted nearly 4,200 individuals in West Virginia. So let's touch on the local centers in McDowell County and its importance.
Yeah, we have, we call it the Forever Families Resource Center. And the McDowell location is in North Fork. And there we have a therapy program, the Healthy Grandfamilies program, which assists grandparents raising grandchildren. And then the WECAN mentoring program, which is my favorite. But we have those programs there. And what the Forever Families Resource Center does is we provide resources to the community and places that they can go. We can't provide everything, of course, but we provide resources that they can go to obtain the needs they have. If they're looking to get their GED, then we send them there. If they're looking, if they need, other needs, we send them where they can receive the most help. And we have a blessing box outside for those who may need it, and we accept food donations for that. And just try to help within that community. We also have several really good activities during the year that we will do a fall festival or a movie night. We'll do things with the community as well. So.
Well, I'm also glad that you mentioned the program for grandparents. Are you seeing an increasing need for that in our communities in Southern West Virginia with more grandparents being involved with their grandkids, or why do you think that's so important to have that program too?
Yes, it is. Grandparents they need a little assistance in raising those grandkids. With technology and everything these days, we can barely keep up with the changes, and so they'll reach out to us several, often needing some assistance.
And I think West Virginia right now is first or second in the country for grandparents raising grandchildren. The statistic is very high. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but I would say over maybe half of the kids in our program, maybe a third, have grandparents raising them, and they need a mentor to help them with homework. Like, how do you do online schooling?
Right.
And they need help taking their kid to sports practices or dance classes or whatever that child's doing, and these mentors can be a family support in that way as well.
Yes.
Fantastic. I can't wait to hear more about what the mentors do. We do have that video I talked about. We'll share that right after the break. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back after this.
WECAN is a community-based mentoring program, and this program matches children with adult mentors, big brothers, big sisters, if you will, who meets with the child and is just a part of their life to help them with things that they struggle with. It might be some insufficiencies in school, they just need to work with them. It could be that they need to build self-esteem. That is one of our greatest goals, is just, building self-esteem in these children and helping them graduate. Truancy reduction is a big part. We want to help these children go to school more and like school and just have the self-esteem to grow.
I graduated from Mount View High School in 2017, and that's when I started becoming a mentor in the fall of that year. I love that I have a mentee that has a big sister, is what I like to call it, because oftentimes our kids don't have that person that can be their big sister or be a positive role model. I mean, they have teachers, they have, family members, but sometimes they just need that outlet that lets them have a big sister that they can just love on and connect with and do fun things with and don't have to worry about anything else in their life at that moment. I would definitely influence anybody and everybody to become a mentor if that's in their heart. I love recommending mentors to be mentors, and I love recommending kids to be their mentees. I think that's my favorite part about it, and I think that, although we have these other branches of life where kids can have other avenues, we need mentoring because that just gives that other positive push for a child.
We try to have monthly events that the mentors can bring the children to and be involved and active without having to go and spend a lot of money elsewhere on them. We take care of all the costs and just provide the food and have an activity. We do different things. Children's Home Society is committed to the children of West Virginia and these children in McDowell County. And we just want to see our children flourish, grow, and be the best they can be. And our mentoring program is here to help that. And we want you to be a part of the mentoring program so our children will continue to flourish.
That was a really nice video. We just heard more about the Children's Home Society WECAN program in McDowell County. Joining me once again on set are Becky Brown and Kristen Kelly. So Becky, as I mentioned earlier, you're the WECAN mentoring coordinator in McDowell County. We just heard from you, but let's talk more about the importance of those mentors for the mentees.
It is so important. We see our children just come out of their shell at times, and they make relationships with their mentor and just become friends. And it's not, you don't take the place of any, or take the role of any family member. If you're a male, you're not that child's father. You know, female, you're not that child's mom. You're just a friend. And that's what's so important, is that they have a friend that they can trust.
And Becky, what are some of the activities that the mentors get involved with the kids?
Sometimes it's as simple as just picking them up and taking them out to eat. You know, just get some of our children, it's been interesting. They've never been to a sit-down restaurant, so they'll get to experience things for the first time. This summer we had a movie night at the theater there in Welch, and a couple of the kids said, I've never been to the movies before, so that was really exciting. So the mentor just can pick activities that the family agrees upon, and they just work together to plan those activities, work with the family, with the guardians, and just have a good time together.
Yeah, and Kristen, do you want to add to what Becky just said about just the importance of spending time with that child, whether it be going out to eat, maybe taking them to a rehearsal, sitting down and maybe helping them with their homework? Calculus, I don't know about that. So someone's in high school, I don't know if I can help you with that. I can help you with grammar and journalism, but just the importance of like spending that time with them, whatever it is, whether it be school related or otherwise.
Yeah, a lot of our mentors actually tutor. Now that you mention it, they sit down and do the homework with the kids. They do their school projects, and a lot of our kids actually see improving grades when they finally get a mentor that's consistent. And we preach consistency more than anything, not necessarily, hey, you need to spend 50 hours a month with this child. It's more of, no, you need to be consistent. And a lot of these children really just need consistency. It's not some fancy thing. You don't have to be have a specific skill set. You just need to be there, and you need to listen, and you need to treat them as an individual and just pull out the strengths in every child. And in every child there are strengths, there are talents, and they just need those pulled out and recognized. And a lot of them, you know, don't necessarily have that being pulled out of them.
Right, and just to encourage them, and like you said, to be that constant force for them.
And when you have that self-esteem, it's amazing the change that we see in our mentees.
Yeah, it's incredible. And let's talk about the need for mentors right now. We'll start with McDowell County. Becky?
Well, there's definitely a need. I think people envision being a mentor as having to give hours and hours of their time.
Right.
But it's really not. Like she said, consistency. If you'll see them one time a month, just take them somewhere, do something with them, as long as you are consistent in that, and they know that you are there and you are available. The time commitment we can work with.
Yeah.
And so even though you may be a busy person, some of my mentors are such busy people, and they're being pulled, but they make time for their mentees because they know the importance of it. And so it's not that you have to spend hours and hours with them. Just be consistent, just be there. And there's such a need for that in McDowell.
And Kristen, what about the need here in Mercer County as well for those mentors?
Yeah, it's a very high demand here too. I think between Becky and I, we usually keep a waiting list of 80 kids?
Wow.
You know, 40 to 50 each at all times. And we're constantly getting new referrals in, people calling us from all over the community saying, hey, this child needs a mentor. So we're constantly looking for people to choose to invest in our youth. Yeah, so very high demand in both.
I can imagine. And Becky, what are the requirements as far as like an age or other requirements to become a mentor?
You have to be 18 years of age for the mentoring portion, and be able to pass the background check, have a working vehicle that you can drive. You have to have a driver's license, and we check references. We do those background checks and everything, but no, like she said earlier, no real skill sets. Just be someone that just
want
loves
to be
kids.
there for youth and enjoy spending time with kids. Yeah.
What are the age ranges of the mentees?
We serve 4 to 17, so very broad.
Yeah, for sure.
And your mentoring experience can really vary if you mentor a 5-year-old versus if you mentor a 15-year-old. So it's a very diverse catch-all program.
Right. And how do you pair up a mentor with a mentee? Do you look at their personalities or what the needs are and be like, you know what, this person would be a great match for this mentee?
When we're taking them through the approval process and we train them on how to be a good mentor, how to be a good role model, we kind of pick out their personality. We interview them and ask them, what are you interested in? What are your hobbies? What kind of kid are you looking to mentor? And then on the child side, we do the same thing. We ask them, what are your hobbies? What's your interests? What's your personality? How can a mentor help you? And so we basically take those two things and we find the two that are most alike and match them, and usually that process works very well.
That's fantastic. And Kristen, I have some statistics I'd like to share with our viewers now, and then I'll get your input and Becky's on the importance of mentoring, more on that and how it does make a difference. So here's some statistics for you. According to mentoring.org, students who meet regularly with mentors are 52% less likely than their peers to skip a day of school, 37% less likely to skip a class, and young adults with a mentor are 78% more likely to volunteer regularly and 130% more likely to hold leadership positions. So we'll have more statistics coming up on your screens shortly, but for now, Kristen, let's talk about just the importance of those mentors. Those statistics basically speak for themselves.
Yeah, research backs mentoring as an effective intervention for at-risk youth all across the board. Mentors have the potential to change the trajectory of one child's life. I always tell our mentors, you have the power to change the world for one person. There was a study actually put out by Harvard University a few years ago, and they did a study on resiliency in youth and how to promote that, and they found that the single most common factor for promoting resiliency in youth, so the ability to overcome hardship, was having a positive, sustained relationship with an adult. It wasn't, any program or any kind of therapy or anything like that. It was a mentor, and that's what our program provides. So when our youth are facing all of these challenges, and most of our kids, have grief or family risk, family stress, being raised by grandparents, there's poverty, there's trauma, academic difficulties, community violence. There's so many things that they're facing. So what's the best thing that we can do for our youth? And we think that it's giving them a mentor, and the research backs us in that.
Absolutely.
So, incredibly powerful.
Yeah, for sure.
It is.
Well, ladies, we have to take one more quick break, but coming up, we will share how you at home can become a mentor. We'll have that information right after this. Welcome back to this edition of In Focus, everyone. This morning, we've been discussing the Children's Home Society of West Virginia, what it does, especially here in southern West Virginia in McDowell and Mercer counties, and also more about the WECAN program. And I'm really interested to share more information with our viewers about how they can become a mentor. There might be someone at home watching thinking, you know what, I could do that. I could be a constant force in some kid's life. So how can they go about becoming a mentor? What's the process?
Well, they can contact us at our Princeton office at 304-431-2424, and or at the McDowell County office at 304-862-4951, and we can help them become a mentor.
It's a very simple application.
Yep.
Yeah. What's the process like? So once they contact you and they start applying, then what's next from there?
So once we get an application back, we schedule an orientation, and we do a one-on-one interview, getting to know this person. vetting, you know, do they really have an interest in kids? What can they do to be a benefit to our program? We do our background checking process. We call our references. And then usually once all of that's complete, we go into the matchmaking process.
That's just wonderful. And what are some other important things about the program that we've touched on that you'd like to reiterate or just share with our viewers, Becky?
We'd just like to encourage people to think, do you feel like you would like to do something to change a kid's life? If you've been thinking about that lately or thinking, you know, I would really just love to help in some way, then think about being a mentor. Because it just, you can tell our enthusiasm with the program that we really believe that it changes lives. And it's not just our beliefs, but the statistics, you know, that we've shown today. And so that's just, it's so important that if you've been thinking about it, call us, talk to us.
And then, Kristen, same question for you. What are some things that you'd like to reiterate, or just to go off what Becky said, just the importance of how a mentor can make a difference? And maybe, I'm sure you've both seen success stories, so let's talk more about that, just the importance of being there for a mentee.
Yeah, I mean, we have so many success stories. I have one mentor that strictly just tutors. Her mentee and the grade improvement has been absolutely insane. We've had matches that have lasted over 10 years, and then I've been the one to close them out because they hit 18. But even after they age out of the program, they go to that mentor for advice. I know that adult, that now adult, still goes to their mentor and is asking for advice, asking for, you know, as they transition into adulthood. It's a really beautiful thing to watch them as they become family.
And Becky, what about you? Can you go off what Kristen just said about some success stories and just the importance of how this seems to be a lasting relationship between the mentor and mentee?
Yeah, I have, as I said before, I have a few relationships that have been, the mentoring program, we started the McDowell mentoring program in 2013, so we have some that have been, you know, in process 6 or 7 years, and it's just, it's great to see now how the family knows them, they know the family. They've been there with those children through the death of their grandparents, you know, attending their funeral, you know, just, I mean, and then attending their sports, having the fun times as well. Being there for sports and for when they've won awards, you know, it's not all bad. And so, but they've, you know, just been there in the good times and the bad times for them. And it's just so neat to see how that relationship can grow.
Right, and like through the big moments and the small, like the milestones and the other moments. So, Becky, why do you feel that the society and its services are crucial statewide, but also here in Southern West Virginia?
It is so crucial because, as Kristen touched on, just touching the life of a child can mean everything. And it can seriously change that child's life.
And here in Southern West Virginia, you know, we don't have a lot of youth programs like this one. So the ones that we do have, we really need to get behind and support. And that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to build a program for youth that are usually looked over here in Southern West Virginia. So.
And Kristen, what is the most fulfilling part of your job?
Oh, I would definitely say the matchmaking process. It's really cool on my end to have two people that are complete strangers, and then I am looking at them and I match them, and it's really cool to see when they click and see them just absolutely thrive, and thinking that, like, I made that relationship, and they're going to go on with years with or without me, you know, and that's definitely the most rewarding thing, is that it's a long-term investment, and it's really cool to watch.
And Becky, what about you?
Oh, I would say just seeing the kids grow from, you know, you don't see many smiles, and then as that relationship grows, you can see how they're bonding and see more smiles, and you just hear stories. So I guess it's that.
Right. Like you said, maybe to see like a child or teenager blossom, right, come out of their shell, and like the mentor can help them and bring that out. And Kristen, what are one or two things you'd like our viewers to remember about our discussion we've had this morning?
Yeah, mentoring, it's effective, it's so important, and most of all, it's easy to do, and it's accessible to you to do. We're right here waiting for a call any day.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll share that number again in a minute, the numbers that Becky shared. But Becky, same question for you. What are one or two things that you really hope our viewers at home remember who are watching this morning?
Yeah, you don't have to have a degree to make a difference in the life of a child. You don't have to, we don't look at your GPA, but you have to have love, and you have to be trustworthy, and you can do this. So.
Yeah, exactly. You just believe in yourself and just try it out. Let's share those numbers again if anyone's interested in becoming a mentor.
The McDowell number is 304-862-4961. And our Princeton number is 304-431-2424.
Yep. Awesome. And we just have a little bit of time left, but if someone knows a child who's in need of a mentor, they call the same numbers to reach out?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Well, before we go, I just want to let our viewers know, In Focus is a community affairs show about people and events here in the two Virginias. If you have an idea, I want to hear from you. Send me an email. It's mzosh@wvva.com. You can also leave me a message on my work number. That is 304-324-0621. Email me, call me, let's get in touch and get you set up to do an In Focus. But in the meantime, I just want to thank Kristen and Becky again for coming in today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. That does it for us this morning. We hope you have a great day. We'll see you again next Sunday.